With sequestration facing the Pentagon, military pay caps are again being touted as the answer to DoD's budget woes. Why should anyone care about a 0.8% cut in the military pay raise? Most people might say that seems too small to matter. Military families and those who support the all-volunteer force should care. History has shown that once Congress starts accepting proposals to cap military pay below private sector growth, those caps continue until retention and readiness are compromised. Pay raises for the military, just like those of average Americans, are important for retention. It's a fundamental principle of sustaining the all-volunteer force. The 1980s and 90s saw Congress repeatedly cap military pay raises below pay growth in the private sector. This led to retention problems and a 13.5% pay gap between service members and citizens in the private sector. Congress has worked hard for the past 13 years to close that gap. They put military pay raises into law in 2003 and tied those raises to private sector pay growth, while keeping military personnel costs to 1/3 of the DoD budget, the same 1/3 it's been for the past 30 years. Yet as recently as August 30th, the President and the Pentagon chose to ignore the law and sent a letter to Congress suggesting a 1% pay cap for uniformed service members and federal civilian employees. This cap would be 0.8% lower than the private sector pay growth. Thankfully, the House of Representatives rejected the President's proposal, suggesting a cap of 1.8%. Unfortunately, the Senate supports the President's cap of 1%. Tying the pay raise to private sector growth cannot work unless it's sustained through good and bad budget times. We are still at war in Afghanistan. We are contemplating operations in Syria. This is a very poor message to send to our men and women in uniform. Now is the time to act. Tell Congress, particularly your senators, to support a 1.8% raise that keeps military pay on pace with the private sector and to send the right signal.
To send your legislators a message in support of the 1.8% pay raise, visit moa.org/pay raise. Make sure your voice is heard. For more information or to join MOAA, visit moa.org.